Well, greetings everyone, and welcome once again to another Wednesday night right here at the Sports Krib. Tonight, we're going to talk about some things that happened Sunday, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Uh, Guess I have a little crow to eat. I see Dave is there with the terrible towel. So let's get Dave up here. Dave, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing okay.
Okay, and I see Demetrius is here also. What's up, my man?
Mr. King, how are you? How you doing, Dave?
All right. How about you?
Good, 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 good.
Okay, well, hey, like I said, there was some good, some bad, some ugly. This
Ugly,
Sunday.
ugly. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I got the hint the first time you said it, bro.
You might be confusing yourself with the Miami Dolphins, but because that was ugly.
No, it's fine. It's 1 week. We're experienced NFL fans. We know how this works.
Well, and as I said, for first game, I have a little play to crow here. I'm going to see how big this thing gets before the season's over. But okay, guys, we do have some other things to talk about though before we get to football. First of all, Dave, do we have a Sue's Corner tonight?
We do. And
All
Sue
right.
starts out. This one is for James.
Uh
Personal. I love it. Yeah.
James, I know you aren't happy with Aaron Rodgers wearing the black and gold. A lot of people aren't. He can come off in his personal life as a big wacko, but maybe marriage will curb that a bit. However, at the end of the day, he is a Hall of Fame bound quarterback with a ton of experience under his belt. We could see a bit of that on Sunday. He is better than anything we have in backups and better than some other teams have as well. So I wanted to reshare this story I wrote for you guys about a year ago that shows another side of Rodgers. So I don't know if you will recall this or if you heard this one, Demetrius. So Rogers comes from Chico, California, about 3 hours south of San Francisco. It was a small farming town that grew in population after the terrible Paradise Camp Fire in 2018. It's gone through hard times like most small towns, especially during COVID. Rogers has quietly helped many places in the town through various projects he funded. The local hospital needed a cancer center. He started the funding with a $3 million donation that got other donations rolling in. The center will be completed in 2025. When his high school team needed new equipment, he bought it. When they made the playoffs but couldn't afford to travel, he paid for it and sent videos to the team during the season to inspire them and bought them all championship rings. When the small restaurants in town were going underwater during COVID, he picked up the tab and paid their operating costs for months until they got back on their feet. He later got involved with Barstool Funds, which helped fund restaurants, etc., during COVID with grants, and then started the Aaron Rodgers Small Business COVID-19 Fund and helped dozens of other businesses. When the Paradise Camp Fire happened in 2018, which is just east of Chico, it was devastating. It destroyed 153,000 acres, killed 85 people, and displaced 50,000 more people. A lot of those people ended up in Chico. He strategized with the local organization on how to best help and gave an immediate $3 million, but then raised more money and awareness by being on Jeopardy for charity and hosting a celebrity golf tournament to raise more funds. The thing about these good deeds that Rogers did is threefold. One, I don't care how much money he has. He doesn't have to give any of it away. Some rich people just don't. Secondly, according to everyone he's worked with, he just doesn't send a check. He researches, learns about the problem, and collaborates with whoever is in charge to make the biggest impact. And thirdly, he does all this as quietly as possible. Yes, he has to lend his name to some things because that generates interest and more money coming in. But for the most part, he just does what needs to be done. So my opinion of Rogers has shifted. He may seem a bit wacky at times when he is trying to have this entertainment persona we seem to expect from people these days. But at the core of it, he seems to be a very decent human as well, with a good heart and true sense of loyalty. We're lucky to have him on our team. And that's Sue's Corner.
Well, hey, like I said, I brought I brought a small plate of crow. So
But I
so
didn't hear you, James.
I said I did bring a small plate of crow. So like I said, we'll see how it grows. But he's still ayahuasca to me. And it has nothing to do with his charitableness or anything like that. It has more to do with him scrapping Dana White. Just my that has more to do with my opinion than anything. But anyway, Don, how you doing this evening?
I'm woozy, but I'm here.
Oh,
I had a little medical procedure today, so I'm just kind of
okay.
a little biopsy. So I'm good.
Yeah. You doing good?
They gave me some good medication. But I actually just woke up a while ago, so I'm here.
Oh, school's
right.
not started yet?
The what?
Has school started yet?
Oh yeah. We've been in school almost a month, but I took off today because I had to we had a biopsy done, and they gave me some of the good stuff. So
I love it. You got the good
Here's,
stuff.
here's hoping you have good results. I know that's
Yep.
yeah,
yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. So, Demetrius, how's things up there in well, I guess you're in the southern peninsula, right?
Lower. We say lower and upper.
Oh, okay.
There's no summer. Yeah, lower and upper. Lower peninsula is always good. It's a beautiful time of year. Fall in Michigan is a great time. Fall in the Midwest in general is good. So yeah, nice.
Hey guys, well, let's start out with a little college football here. And as I had said, and I guess most of us thought, we now see that the SEC has fined Mississippi State $500K storming the field after they beat ASU. So, guys, what, Don? I mean, if one of your opponents beats you, I'm sure they're gonna, try to storm the field or whatever. So, what are we gonna do here? Barbed wire, electric fences? What do you think?
Well, storming the field is
It
something
used
you
to be
do.
a tradition.
Yeah, storming the field is something you do when you pull off a big upset. I mean, like Vanderbilt beating Alabama. You know, I think a few years ago Northwestern beat who they beat. When they stormed the field. Was it Michigan or Ohio State? They beat somebody. They stormed the field. That's storm the field. But Arizona State, you don't storm the field when you beat Arizona State. So I don't know what's going on in Mississippi, but I mean I don't know. Maybe they had too much hooch to drink. I don't know, but yeah, when you storm the field, you're talking about safety. You got thousand people run on the field to get trampled. They tear down the goalpost. People have actually been killed by goalposts falling on their heads. Those things are heavy. So, yeah, you have to have some kind of consequence for doing stupid stuff. But I think they should be fined a cool million just because of who they played. You know.
For scheduling,
Well,
scheduling.
yeah. I mean, you don't storm the field beating. It's not a rival. There's
We're
no.
like 7-17 in the last 2 years. This is
Yeah,
a big deal in Starkville, Mississippi. For them, this was a big deal. They haven't beat a ranked team since 22. So some of it is that, and I'm going to be honest, they're going to pay the fine. They don't care. They don't get too many. This is a big win for them, and schools is going to pay the fine and be okay with it. And,
when Florida Southern beat Florida.
Yep.
Now it was at the Swamp, so they're not going to storm. But
they're not storming. Right?
I mean that would be a good opportunity to storm because you beat, David beat Goliath. But yeah, it's
what I think sensibly. I wish somebody would explain to me how is the school supposed to stop it. Emotions are emotions. These are probably between 19 and 23, generally a time where you don't make the best decisions. There's almost certainly alcohol involved, right? How are they going to stop drunk kids who haven't seen their team win in 3 years or whatever from doing this? So I guess it's just a money grab, in my opinion. I think there's a rule that says if you let the other team and the refs get out the field, you can do whatever you want after. So maybe you try and navigate some way to have a pathway or an area for them, but it, like I said, it's people between like 18 and 23 who are almost certainly drinking, and you want them to make good decisions. I don't see how this is going to work.
Well, that's what I said, Dave. Barbed wire, like I mean, what do we do here? I mean, it's a tradition. I'm sure that if Grambling had beat Ohio State last week, I'm sure Grambling would have still they played at Ohio State. They wouldn't have.
Yeah, they weren't
still. Yeah, but if Youngstown State beats a ranked opponent, they're certainly going to storm the field. And I mean, hey, you got a big check coming anyway, so I mean, it's not like it's not like you probably can't. The school is. Arizona State probably gave them more than $1 million to take that ass whooping, but that they thought was coming, But it just turned out the other way. But I mean, they got a healthy paycheck. What do you think here, Dave? I mean, when we were young, at least when I was young, hey, that was almost a tradition. Don, when you were playing, I'm sure that was almost a tradition.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, after a big upset, you're going to storm the field. That happens in high school, college, whatever. But, we were talking about this not too long ago whenever Vanderbilt upset Alabama.
Yep.
And the SEC warned all of the schools back in May that if you don't control your students, your fan base, you're going to be fined. So it's not a surprise. It's not as if they're just like saying, hey, you did this, and so now we're going to hit you with this huge fine. They warned them back in May, and they scrapped they used to have a series of escalating fines, and they just said, no, we're going to hit you with the flat $500,000 because of the safety concerns that Don was talking about. So, to me, it's the responsibility of the school to communicate to the student body that, hey, look, if you do this, this is what we face. And then they should probably explain to them what the implications are. Maybe it's less money that they have available for their, student union or student activities or something like that, so that they start to feel, hey, if we're going to do this, well, then we're going to lose some of the stuff that our dues, for our student activities pay for. So The problem is there's too much of a good thing. It can be very, very exciting, but then the problem is that there's an escalation. You reach a certain amount of excitement, and then the next time, well, that's not enough. We have to go a little bit further and a little bit further. And then we're taking the goalposts and we got to dump them in the river or whatever we're going to do with them. And so there has to come a point of like, hey, if you're warned, this is what's going to happen. Well, then you got to face the consequences. But I think that the schools, they need to figure out a way so that the students feel the consequences. And part of that might be that, hey, okay, well, we're going to have to reduce some of the activities from your student activities. I don't know if that's the answer, but there has to be something there, because if not, then you're going to face situations that Don talked about where, you have people getting hurt or even killed.
Well, the school is the one that got fined. So, in this instance, how did it hurt? How did it affect the students?
Well, I'm saying that because the schools were warned, it's up for the schools to figure out a way how to communicate the issue to the students and then tell them, here are the consequences if this happens.
Yep.
And so that okay, the school gets fined, but then it's okay. Well, where does that money come from? Does it come from the student activities funds, or how do they go about paying for that? And so I'm saying that I think it's mostly a communication issue. If most of the kids understand that there's consequences to it and that they will be carried out, well, then you reduce the chances of having a melee.
And it's really easy. Just tell them, if you storm the field, and we can. There's enough cameras. There's cameras everywhere. You don't ever get to come to a game again. That's it. We revoke your right to come to a game. And if you're a student and you're willing to take the chance that you're not going to get caught on one of the 500 cameras, right? Because all I got to do is say, if we identify you on camera having charged the field, your ticket privileges will be revoked.
That's a huge one, because the other thing is sometimes students are able to buy their tickets for cheap and then they resell them.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so if all of a sudden they lose their access to their tickets and the ability to go to the game, I think you're right. That would
be detrimental. Just the fear of maybe losing your tickets might take care of this, right?
Right.
That's what he's right though. The school has to put consequences on the students. Right now, there's no consequence to the student, so they don't really care, and they feel the school probably has the $500,000 sitting around somewhere anyway.
Yeah,
they probably don't.
I just gave him 10. I just gave him 10 grand last quarter.
Exactly. Yep.
Don, I think this might affect your school as much or more than anybody else. And we talked about this. And Coach Day, he says, he's not in favor of this single window portal in January. What about your thoughts, Don?
Well, this portal thing, they keep changing the dynamics of it, and they keep messing with it. I think you should have a single portal, just like we come out with in January. The only exception would be if there's a coaching change.
Yep.
And so, but that's me. Texas has benefited greatly from the portal last 3 years, so I'm not going to complain too much. But they need to come up with something that's a little bit more uniform, and you have teams that are just chomping at the bit for the portal to open for multiple times because they need to fill their roster. But I think it's one of the situations where the bigger schools can go either way. Can go either way on it. The smaller schools probably want multiple portal days, so they can replenish their losses. But because what's happening now, let's say you have a kid who's real good Division II. You got overlooked in recruiting, and he has a great season Division II. Well, then the portal opens. He goes, "I'm going to jump up to a Power 5 conference," and he does that. But if you keep the window open multiple times, we get more of those players leaving, and the small schools will suffer. That's just my take.
Um, Demetrius.
Yeah,
No,
I
no,
agree. It's too chaotic. Yeah. So yeah, I think having two windows was chaotic. The first window, the winter window in December, the season was still going on. There were kids whose teams were getting ready to play bowl games and they were entering the portal. That's insane, right? So this is closer to the end of the season. I think this will still be during, people getting ready for the playoff, but it's closer. A lot of teams will be done. I think only having one makes sense. Don nailed it on the coaching change. That's the exception that you have to have. If the coach leaves, I think they immediately get a 30-day window. And it's just more. We've talked a lot about the chaos happening in college football over the last few years, whether it's NIL, portal. They have to at some point start to put some guide rails, right? Not to control the movement, because this doesn't limit any player from transferring or entering the portal. This just puts a little structure around it, and I think ultimately everybody's gonna be okay with it. Now you make your portal decision at once. It's actually going to be pretty exciting, in my opinion, because I think it's going to be like the NBA trade deadline or the NFL trade deadline. That window, there's going to be bodies flying during that window. It's going to be an exciting time for sports, but it's a little more controlled, it's a little less chaotic, less impact to the season when you do it in January rather than in December. So I like it. I think it's at the end of the day better for the players. And we had to come here. This is the first step in the evolution of what college football is becoming because money's involved, right? And so I think this is a good step. I agree with this one.
what do you think, Dave?
Well, I think part of the issue is that it interferes with the scholastic year. And then also I think that Coach Day's issue is it interferes with the college football playoffs, because if you do it in that period of January,
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you could lose players. They had it in December before because the idea was that okay, they can transfer, get enrolled for the spring semester, and be at their new school. And I didn't like it because it's like I don't think it should be in the middle of the college football playoffs. The problem is if you do it in February, well, now the school semester has already started.
Yeah.
And I'm almost thinking that maybe they need to have two periods, one in January, like a short one in January, right when the season ends, like the very end of January for like 5 days or 7 days, but then open it up for 10 or 15 days in April. And the reason I say April is then by then these schools will have gone through their spring practices. They'll kind of know, and players will know where do they stand and where do they have a shot. And so then it's like, okay, well then after spring practice, if I'm way down on the depth chart, there's this other school, that wants me, well, hey, I can transfer out and have the summer and be ready for the fall. So I'm,
So
I don't know
basically,
That's
so
what they have.
basically, you're agreeing with Coach Day then, because he
Yeah.
wants two. He wants two at
Well, they have
least.
two now.
Right.
The
Right.
winter
Yeah.
one is in December, and there's one in April already.
but they want to go to a single one is what they want.
They want to
Yeah,
they're going to
yeah,
scrap the
yeah. They
April
want
one
to go.
altogether and
Right.
just have the one in January.
Right.
How about
or one in December and one in they have like 20 days in December and then a short one in January, and then they're saying they just want to go to one.
Right.
No.
Right.
No.
And
Right
I'm
now,
saying the problem is I think if they do it in April, and I wouldn't even care if they just did one in April, just scrap the January one and say, hey, you got to finish out your spring semester, and then if you want to transfer, you do it in April.
they have
how
one in
about
April now. There's a spring transfer window in April right now.
Right.
There's one in
And the other
December
one's
that's called the
the other
winter
one's
one,
December.
and the spring one in April right now. So that's what they currently have. They're proposing going away from that, scrapping
Right.
April altogether, shifting December to January. That's what
into
they're proposing.
7-1.
Right. And he doesn't like that.
No,
For the reason Dave mentioned, the right reason, which is Ryan Day is going to be in the playoff almost every year. This is going to be really disruptive to Ryan Day. I'm going to tell you, Michigan State doesn't have a problem with it. not yet.
Well, Texas could have a problem with it too.
Yeah, Texas might.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it impacted Penn State when they lost their backup quarterback to the portal, and that was from the December portal.
Right.
And so it's kind of like, I think it's, the portal should be open outside of the football season. So I would rather, if they did anything, if they were going to go to a single one, then just go to April.
Yeah.
How about go one portal that lasts 4 months long? January, February, March, April.
So right now the April portal is mid to late. It's like the 16th to the 25th, and the December one is really the one that's problematic. I think Dave made a really good point about the April one. My only problem with this is I think the April one is more critical. Players can evaluate where they stand after spring ball. That's what drives most of these decisions. So I 100% agree with Dave's point of, if you are intent on going to just one, it probably should just keep the April one and scrap the winter one. It's disruptive to kids going back to school, like he said, whether it's in early December or early January, they're in class. If we actually give a damn about that anymore, and I'm not sure we do, but if you're going to one, I agree with Dave. Go with the April 16, April 25 one that currently exists. Spring ball is the best time for the player to evaluate that decision, best for schools. You're not disruptive to the season, and probably you're going to impact class no matter what you do. But I think if you had a 10 or 12 day window in April, it makes sense. So I don't know why they want to go to the January one. That doesn't feel right.
Guys, we got a couple big games coming up in the sense of standings, and I want to know what you guys think. First game that comes to mind here is number 6 Georgia against number 15 Tennessee. We've all been kind of maybe downplaying Tennessee a little bit, but this is a chance for them to break it into the top 10. What do you think there, Dave?
Yeah, I really don't know. I think it might be a crapshoot, but I would probably go with Georgia in this game. But we'll see. I don't really have hard feelings either way. I could see where Tennessee could snatch I would consider it an upset, but right now I would go with Georgia.
What do you say there, Don?
I hate to give an edge to Georgia in this one, but Tennessee is one of those teams that's always on the bubble of, in the SEC they're always going to be talked about, but sometimes they falter. But Georgia's just too loaded this year. We're gonna go Dogs.
What do you think, Demetrius? I mean, if Tennessee loses the game, losing to Florida is no big deal. They would probably stick in the top 20, if not keep the same ranking. But your thoughts?
Yeah, I want to pick Tennessee bad. They got this transfer running back from Duke named Star Thomas that I like, and I think he's really good, and I want to pick him. But Gunnar Stockton, Georgia's quarterback, I like this kid. He's going to be the key to the game. I think that, Georgia's still Georgia. We can say whatever you want about them. Like Don said, they're still loaded. So I would love to give you some cute, fancy Tennessee upset, but I'm not. I'm going to go with Georgia. So it makes sense.
What about Demetrius? What about the Aggies? They're number 16, and they're playing number 8, Notre Dame.
Yeah. So I think that Notre Dame got the week off after a hard-fought opener, but the thing about A&M is their offense right now appears to be firing on all cylinders. Their quarterback, Marcel Reed, Had a really good game, and I think that I like Marcus Freeman. I like Notre Dame's roster, but I think I'm actually going to take A&M on this one. I am. I think A&M is really offensively is what I see that they have the potential to light something up here. So I'm gonna go probably off script. I think most people like you get a bye week after a good opener. You expect Notre Dame to come back, and I do. They're going to play well, but I want to take the Aggies on this one.
Dave.
I'm with Demetrius on this one. I could see I could see Texas A&M taking it, and like he says, they have the offensive power. The game is in Notre Dame, I think, so that's a factor. But and boy, that will really skewer Notre Dame's record chances. But no, I think I would go with A&M. I'm interested to hear what Don has to say, because I think
Me too.
I think the Aggies is a strong team this year. I'm surprised that they're ranked 16 and not lower.
Don, you're our Texas expert here.
Yeah, well, let me tell you about A&M. And Demetrius is right. Their offense is showing signs of life. Their quarterback got dinged up, so we're not sure about the healthy of Marcel Reed.
Okay.
Also, the A&M defense gave up over 200 yards rushing to UTSA, and UTSA is terrible this year. You have to have two facets of your game: your defense and your offense. Well, three if you throw in special teams. But A&M's defense has not shown to stop the run. They gave up some yards to Utah State of all people. Yeah, they're undefeated, but they haven't run into a team like Notre Dame that is talented. So I'm going the Irish.
Ooh.
All right. 2-1. We'll see. Dave is Demetrius is our stat man here, so we'll see. Hey, guys, Don, starting with you. Is this a must-win week for Alabama? They're playing Wisconsin.
Well, every game is the must win for Alabama from here on out. So
Right. Exactly. Yep.
To their defense, I think Florida State's a lot better than people give them credit for. So, and let me tell you, college football is better when Florida State's good. That's just my opinion. But Wisconsin is not a great team, but they're a team that when they get it all together, they can beat anybody. So I think I think Alabama needs to strap their chin straps and helmets on tight because it's coming. They need to play flawless and win. But yeah, the margin of error for Alabama this year is very slim after that upset to Florida State, and DeBoer is going to be. He's that seat. I'm not saying he's on the hot seat, but
it's a little warm.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
What do you think? He mentioned DeBoer there, Demetrius. What do you think? Like Don said, it might not be hot yet, but it's a little warm.
The seat's always hot. It's Alabama. Alabama head coach, by definition, that seat is hot. Don said two things. I don't need to elaborate. I'm going to pick off two things he said. One, every game is a must-win for Alabama the rest of the way. Some of that's about the playoff, but it's much more about the hot seat piece, right? Because they'll run you up out of there. They'll pay $60 million and go get somebody else if they think they're better. And the other thing is, Wisconsin's not a great team. So if they lose that game to that team, talk about the seat getting hot, it's gonna crank up. And I get it, $60 million buyout's a lot of money. Texas is the one group of boosters that'll come up with it in a heartbeat. But right behind them are the dudes in Tuscaloosa. If they decide he's not the guy, the $60 million won't stop them from running Kalen DeBoer up out of there a year and a half in. It won't matter. That seat's always hot. That seat, unless Nick Saban's sitting in it, the seat's hot. And you don't want to be the guy to follow the guy. You want to follow the guy, then follow the guy. So you want to be the next head coach at Alabama, not this one. But yeah, I think the short answer is yes, it's a must win because we're going to say that all year, probably the rest of the year, because it's Alabama. And then if there's a team that could get in with 2 losses, it's probably Alabama. But that's just a tough conference, and there's only so many seats at the party, so they can't afford to drop anymore.
Yeah. You agree, Dave?
Well, I mean, number one, and I forget if it was, I think it was Don said that every game is a must-win for Alabama now. I think that's true. I think they're playing Wisconsin. They're heavily favored. And the thing is if they lose to Wisconsin after they've been heavily favored, that's going to be tough to overcome. And the whole reason that Nick Saban is not coaching football, I believe, is because of the transfer portal and the inability in the NIL and the inability to kind of corral a whole bunch of football talent and prevent it from going to other programs. And he couldn't do that. And I think he saw the writing on the wall and retired, which I think was a smart move on his part.
He didn't retire broke, Dave.
What's that?
So he didn't retire broke. I mean,
it's not about money for some of these guys. A lot of it is ego. And I think that, like Bill Belichick's not hurting for money, but he wants to come back into the NFL to coach. He probably won't be able to, but he'd like to. He wants a shot at having the record, the all-time win record in the NFL, which he's not going to be able to do now. So I think in the case of if the NIL and the transfer portal were never a factor, Nick Saban would still be the coach of Alabama right now.
100%.
I think he pretty much said so.
100%.
So in that case, I think that it's going to be interesting because they are heavily favored, but Wisconsin is not. It's not like playing a Division II team. I mean, they have a pretty good defense. It'll maybe they'll give them a run for their money, but I think Alabama should win. But if they don't, that's I think that seat is going to be red hot.
I think at this point, even if the game is close, because like you said, they are very heavily favored. Dave, it seems, the scene that we saw Sunday with Carter, they decided that the ejection, I guess it was because the game had never started, more or less. They decided that that would be his 1-game suspension. They also fined him $57K. But Dave, I mean, what do you think? Is that's an insult, Spear? I mean, I don't care how how you want to frame it, fix it. I mean, was this enough, Dave? Do you think?
Well, I mean, the NFL did announce that they were going to crack down on sportsmanship and stuff like this at the beginning of the season. So they were throwing a lot of flags for.
Well, they threw one for what, sportsmanship? What was it when the taunting? Yeah.
Right, right. Well, and that's what the NFL, they warned that they were going to do. And so the teams knew it. But on the other end, the players knew it. But on the other hand, what I don't like about that is that it's just putting too much control in the hands of the referees to determine the outcome of games. It's like, okay, well, the one player spits, and then, well, was he spitting onto Dak Prescott, or was he trying to spit on the ground and hit him because Dak Prescott approached him? It wasn't that he approached Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott came to him. So my problem with it is that it puts too much control on the outcome of games on with the officials, and they already have too much power in that way, in the way that they call the games now. But
So
I
it
can see.
would have been all right if it had been somebody else other than Carter. Then
I don't see, to me, I don't care. I don't want them to be just willy-nilly ejecting players and not letting them play. I think that there's some other punishment that they can do. They've been, they fine players all the time after the game, but an outright ejection from a game, that can have like a really big impact. And because you've been
it had an
preparing the
impact on
entire
that
game.
game.
So what's that?
I think it had a great impact on that game when you look at the score.
Right,
Dallas,
right.
even though Dallas didn't score the whole second half.
Well, I mean, there's my point. And so I just don't like I see what they're trying to do. I just don't like the effect. And I don't like to have, I want the players to decide the game, not the officials making, hey, we're not going to let you play because we don't like the way you taunted this guy or you did this. And because usually in the past, as in a lot of sports, that was kind of taken care of by the players
There you
themselves,
go. There you go. That's
you
where I'm going.
know, and in on the field of play, not
Yeah.
fisticuffs, but it would be taken care of on the field of play.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
I would prefer that. I want to see football, and to me, football. It's not, hey, how close to these complicated rules can you make? And if you're not 6 inches up on the line of scrimmage, well, then we're going to throw the flag. But maybe we won't. But this time we are. No, I'm not into that. I want to see players blocking each other, tackling each other, catching passes. I want to see football. I don't want to see officiating.
Yeah.
Well, Demetrius, what's your thoughts here? I mean, I mean, of course, I mean, in a situation like this, George Atkinson would have probably handled it a little bit different,
Exactly. Yep.
but they don't allow that anymore. So, I mean, what do you do? I mean, back in the day, you just, would have probably looked at it, wiped it off, and said, "Let's play. I'm ready now."
Yeah.
you
So,
know,
so I think Dave hinted at it. I'm going to go a step further. I'm not speaking for Dave. I'm speaking for me. But I'm going to go. We don't talk a lot of hockey on this podcast, and I'm a hockey fan, right? The Detroit Red Wings are a big deal where I'm from, right? And I think there are rules you violate, game rules. That's what the officials are for. If a guy's lined up in the neutral zone, cool, throw your flag, whatever. There is conduct that, as a peer, as players in this league, they need to hold each other accountable to. This is a conduct related issue. So you know what? I got a left tackle, and he's gonna pull. He's gonna pull on one of these running plays. We don't care if we get 2 yards or a yard or a negative. You got to pay for what you did. Baseball does it. Baseball does it. If you pose on your home run, I got a pitcher.
Rush him back.
He knows what his job is. Everybody knows, but they hold each other accountable. Hockey back in the day, and to a degree now, there are dudes on the roster. They got one job.
The enforcers.
They got one job. You do that, because to me, just as a human being, you could come up to me and say something to disrespect me, and we can maybe figure that out. You could maybe try and slap me or swing on me. We can maybe figure that out. If you spit on me, it's go time. We got to dance. I'm sorry. That's the most disrespectful thing I think one human being can do to another. That's some DMX. Meet me outside. Meet me outside. Meet me outside. Right? But I think Dave's got it right in that. I think the ref can't enforce that. Dak's got to have a teammate who said, "Whoa, did that dude just spit on you?" They're yeah. Okay, I got this. And there's no talk. You don't have to talk about it. Dak and his teammate doesn't have to discuss it. Jalen Carter knows what's coming, and nobody on the Eagles is going to do anything to stop it. You hold each other accountable. You let the players enforce that conduct, kind of stuff like that. And like you mentioned, George Atkinson. Oh yeah, he would have dealt with that. He would have dealt with that for one of his teammates. So I don't know that this league will get there. This what we're talking about will never occur. There was a
Again.
time where that existed. Again, right? There was a time where that existed. It still exists in other sports, so it could be done. But this league is really giving, again, today's point. Officials, to me, have way. I did a whole final thoughts last year on officiating, and it was long and it was brutal. They're giving them too much authority. They're impacting the game too much, and that's what I said last year in my rant. That's going to ruin your game. It won't be concussions. It won't be other injuries. It won't be moms not letting their kids play football. It will be when officials take the game to a place where they're more impactful than the players, or almost as impactful as the players. This one is easy. It's a conduct thing. Let them deal with that themselves. Let them handle it on the field. Somebody's got to go send a message to Jalen Carter. Clean. Don't end his career. You don't go below the knees or anything like that. But there's unwritten rules in every other game. There's unwritten rules, and if hockey and baseball can do it, there's no reason the NFL couldn't do it too. They won't, but they could.
Don't think there didn't be bounties in football, please.
Of course.
Don, what was your thoughts? I mean, 1 game suspension, but since he didn't get the chance to play that game, that's cool. $57K. But what do you think?
Well, I think it's fair punishment, but he understand, or he needs to realize if he does it again, they're going to triple that fine, or and triple the suspension. So just, I mean, keep your spittle to yourself. That's all I'm going to say. I'd rather be kicked in the nuts than be spit on. Be honest. So
same here. But there's a backup left guard on the Dallas Cowboys that's got to pull Dak aside and say, "You gonna pay my fine?" And Dak was like, "I got you." And you just go out there and you take that one. Coach said, "Okay, 15 yards, we get it. I know what happened." But then Jalen doesn't do that again. That's how you handle it, really. But they won't.
Well, it happened again. A Florida player spit on a FSU. So
UCF, yeah.
We have a little epidemic going on.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's go time. We got to dance. Sorry.
I just didn't want to give Spit that much time. That's why we didn't talk about both. But what do you think about the new playoff rules there, Don? We've seen a lot of kickoff returns this first week. What do you think? Makes the game more exciting or what?
The kickoff rule you're talking about, right? The change to the kickoff rule? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm getting accustomed. I like the traditional kickoff like they still have in college and high school, but I can adjust to it. I mean, that's just one facet of the game that lasts, not that long. I mean, it's not a big part of the game, but I can take it or leave it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think, Demetrius?
I think I understood what they were trying to do back when they took it out. There was a degree of, they were trying to give the perception of player safety is a big deal. Probably 2010, 2011, you started to see the rate of returns drop. It's just a really dangerous play. The old version was a really dangerous play. So they had to do something because too much player safety was being talked about then. So what they want to do, then teams just kicked it in the end zone. And then it became really not a part of the game. Guys were just doing touchbacks, right? And then there was conversation saying, hey, wait a minute. We have fundamentally taken an exciting play out of the game, but we got this trick bag of this exciting play is also potentially the most dangerous play in our game. So then they come up with the dynamic kickoff last year. Problem was it wasn't quite right. And, you still didn't get the uptick you wanted. They want to get around 60% of kicks return. 60, 70% of kicks return. That would be their wheelhouse. This takes out some of the danger, having them line up the way they do now. You take away some of the danger of the high-speed collisions, and now it's a little more punitive to just kick it away. So now, guys are returned now. So this is probably about where they want to be. They like it to tick up a little more. I think last week it went up 50%.
It was over 75%.
75%. Okay, so that's where they want to be. I think that's right about what they want. They understand everyone is not, but it is a very exciting. It can be a very exciting play, and so I think this is clearly a rule that probably worked to give them what they want. You could still do your player safety speeches and bring an exciting play back to the game, because we had basically lost it over the last 7-8 years. That play just didn't matter. It was boring. It wasn't impacting games. It was impacting rosters. Like, do we even need these certain guys on special teams? So I think it's a good thing. I think over 70%, that's solid, because kick return can be a fun play.
Yeah, but Dave, I mean, I understand what Demetrius is saying. It can be an exciting play, but given the team the 30 the ball on the 35-yard line, I think that's kind of punitive.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's not automatically to the third. That's only if the kicker kicks it into the end zone.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Now, if he kicks it short, if he kicks it outside of the target area, like in front, it'll go up to the 40. But here's the thing: is in 2023, to what Demetrius was saying, they were down to close to 20%. Only 20% of the kickoffs were being returned. It was the most, and they were talking about, well, maybe we need to get rid of the kickoff.
Outlaw it. Yeah.
And it's like that was one of the most exciting plays. And I've been on both sides. I've seen where, okay, the Steelers go down, they score a touchdown, they kick off, and the other team would score a thing. And I'm like devastated, while the fans of the opposing team, they're really exciting. That used to be the most exciting play of a game.
Yep.
And so last year they tweaked the rules. They were at 32%, and that's why they moved. So then they really penalize if you're going to kick it into the end zone, because most teams, if it's only going to come up to the 25, because originally it was a 20. I think they brought it up to the 25. Now he said, okay, now it's to the 35. Well, now teams are going to say, well, no, we got to let them return it and try to keep them behind the 30.
Yep.
That's like the new target, is behind the 30. And so what happens is now you're having football players playing football. You don't have like a kickoff and it's like, okay, well, now the referee has to adjudicate, oh, it's here. Well, now we're going to place it here. Now we're going to start. And you just wasted all that time. And so, the one thing that, and it's going to be hard to figure out, I don't know if they ever will be, are the onside kicks.
Yeah.
Because now they have to announce them in advance, and I think like the success rate is infinitesimal.
You got to kill.
And I don't know how they fix that, but for me, I like seeing. I want to see our guys, and they're using running backs by and large as the kick returners now.
Yep.
And it's more like a running play, and then it's like, okay, I like it.
Yeah, we got a linebacker returning kicks.
Yeah. Now all these returns last week, there were no touchdowns.
Right.
No.
But I think we'll somebody's going to burst through and start going. The days of who was it? Devin Hester. I mean,
Devin
he's
Hester.
in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame because of his kick returning.
Exactly.
Billy White Shoes Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Billy White Shoes.
We all did that dance, right? You can't see my legs. Can't see my legs, but y'all know what they're doing, right?
So let's talk some football here. Don, what happened Thursday night? I mean, it looked good the first half, and then all of a sudden Dallas can't score in the second half. Philly only scored 3. It's not like it was,
Well,
a half of offense. And so, what were your thoughts here, Don?
I thought Dallas looked pretty good offensively. Defensively, they have a hard time stopping Philadelphia, and I think they have a hard time stopping a lot of teams this year. But in the first game of the season, but I thought Dallas. I figured Philly would beat them, you know, more than they did. The game played Dallas, it might have been different, but I was actually pleasantly surprised that Dallas looked as good offensively as they did. But then you think about it. I mean, Philly lost two players within 30 seconds of each other. So,
Right.
I mean, that kind of hampered them. Well, their best defensive lineman was out after the spit gate, but I think Philly looked good. Jalen Hurts looked good. I think it's going to be competitive for that NFC division right there. I don't have a lot of faith in Dallas, but I have more faith in them now than I did, 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Even after watching the Commanders?
What's that?
I said, even after watching the Commanders?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a different story, but
Dave, what did you think?
Well, one thing they had the they had the big delay for lightning.
Yeah, lightning.
So I think the difficulty, that probably impacted the scoring because they had to wait. I think it was over an hour.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now all
They were
of a sudden all your
they
juice.
were showing them taking food to the different locker rooms during
Right.
the lightning delay. Remember?
So the thing is, all of a sudden, all your juices, to get the game going. I think after a while, both teams were like, let's get out of here.
Yep.
I mean, because your body, now you have a higher risk of having soft tissue injuries and stuff like that. So, but I thought Dallas, man, I thought they had a shot at upsetting them there in the first half. I was like, wow. Because I was expecting Philadelphia to kind of roll, but
Well, we're going to look back at our betting, but I think that was that a 44.5 game there, Dave? Over under? I think that was a 44.5. One of them, I'm not sure, but I know Dallas
47.5.
It was a bunch of 47.5. That's what they were.
And Dallas was, I mean, Philly was favored by 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah. So.
But they were on track in the first half to do it, but.
Yeah, like I said, Philly scored 3 points in the second half. Dallas scored none. Demeet.
Yeah, I think Dave hit a huge point. That break alters everything, right? You're in the flow of a game. Everything he said about your body, but even more so your mind. And I think he simply boiled it down to, hey, let's get out of here, right? And I think that is not far off, I think, of what happened. I think they would have covered the over, and I think Philly was on track to cover the spread. But after something like it's so disruptive, and professional football players, professional athletes in general, they're creatures of habit. A 1 hour delay in the middle of a game changes everything. So I think there was that. I don't think Dallas has anything to be ashamed of, by the way. I think Dallas played a good game. I think Philadelphia's a better team. I don't know how you account for the delay. Dallas got nothing to be ashamed of. There are other teams who maybe won their games who didn't play as well as Dallas played in a loss. So I think there was and Philly lost players. So I mean, Philly's good. I mean, if you ask me, they're amongst the 2 or 3 best teams in football. So if you're Dallas, you sometimes if you play an A- game and another team plays an A- game and they're just better than you, it's okay. That's okay, right? Like we'll get to another conversation about a team that showed up and played a D- game, but we'll talk about that later. I don't think Dallas has anything to be ashamed of personally.
I don't know how many of you guys went through the trouble of watching the game on YouTube on Friday night. The Chiefs uh, went into well, actually, they went to Brazil,
Yeah, they all
and,
went to Brazil, right?
I'm sure that was distraction enough. I know what the Brazilian beaches look like here in San Diego, yeah, that's another story.
It's 9 o'clock yet, Mr. King. Hold on. What you do? Okay. Yeah, it's 9:01 Central. You can do that. Go ahead.
so anyway, what do you guys think? Here's the Chiefs. They've lost their first game this year. That division plays the NFC North. I mean, yeah, NFC. What is that? Central, right? Uh,
There is no more Central. Yeah, no,
well,
we played we played
the
no,
Chiefs.
the
Yeah, the
NFC
Chiefs.
North plays the AFC West. I think is what you're trying to say,
Okay,
right? Yeah.
yeah. So, what do you think? The Chiefs got. I think they play the Packers this week. We'll check it out down the line here. But what do you think? The Chiefs starting out 0-1.
Me?
Demetrius,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I think the Chiefs host the Eagles this week, if I'm not mistaken. I'm
Is it
correct. I think that's who the
okay?
Chiefs have.
I,
I think
I I know it's somebody in your division. I
yeah,
know
yeah.
that.
Commanders are at the Packers.
Okay.
It's the Commanders at the Packers. I think the
Okay.
Chiefs and the Eagles are this week. So my say of the game is 16 teams lost this week. It ain't a big deal, guys. It's 1 week. I'm not ready to do that yet. They got a dude that wears 15 still. I think he's still on the roster. I'm just, you know me. I work in statistics, right? One data point doesn't do it for me. Like I know who they are. I know who they are. We all know who they are. I am not burying them after 1 week, no more than I'm like burying my own team. But I think that the statement really is the LA Chargers might not be a bad football team. The AFC West might be loaded because I really like Denver too. I think the
Yes, sir.
story is really about are we sleeping on the Chargers? For me, I think I might have slept on the Chargers. They played a disciplined, sound game. I can't love their coach for college reasons, but you know what? I was impressed with the Chargers. I didn't feel like, oh, the Chiefs had a bad game. Chiefs weren't the story to me. Chargers were the story. I was impressed with the Chargers, quite frankly. So that might be more of what we're talking about. Is let's not sleep on that. That entire division, I think, is really good. I still think you guys might have the better division because you're top heavy. Your top three, I think, are really good. I think our division is good. It's a lot of good football left to be played. So I'm not worried about the Chiefs, but I really think the story is the Chargers.
Hey,
Well, one of the things I found interesting was there's some controversy as to whether it was because this was streamed on YouTube, this game.
right.
And, the question was, well, hey, did they, was it a bust or did they exceed expectations? And depending on who you talk to, you get different points of view. But they're saying that I think that there was it was being viewed in over 100 countries.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things like with YouTube that it really goes out there, and I guess the NFL is really bent on expanding it, internationally. Now, I'm not a fan of these international games, because now the repercussions for these teams are coming back. Luckily in Brazil, the time zones aren't too bad. They're probably, well, Brazil's further east, and these are west. The Chargers are a West Coast team, but it's still not like going to Europe. It's not that bad, but there's still all the logistics, and you lose some time,
right?
Some practice and prep time for your next game. That's my major concern there. For the Chargers losing, I think for the Kansas City losing, it's one game. Now next game is going to be important for them to win. Because you don't want to start out in a 0-2 hole. But even if you do start in a 0-2 hole, that's not the end of your season. You got to be able to play the long game. But I think the Chargers are like all of a sudden people are like, oh, yeah, this is a pretty good team. And the NFC West, maybe they're looking at taking the crown as the strongest division in the NFC from the North. We'll see. I'm not so sure. We're going to find out more about Seattle this week, but we'll be talking about that later.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to some of these Sunday games here. Danny Dimes. We all, as soon as we heard he had the job in, Indianapolis, we all turned our nose up. What's happening with Anthony Richardson, Danny Dimes? I mean, but Danny, hey, he kind of showed why they turned to Danny. So, what'd you think here, Dave? He had the Colts in a 33-8 victory over the Dolphins. Was it Danny Dimes, or were the Dolphins just that damn bad?
Well, might be a combination of the two.
Yeah.
But Jones, I mean, I think he surprised everybody. He looked like he was on, and maybe it's a change of venue, different coaching staff, different schemes, and maybe it's working for him. I wonder what's going on with Miami. I think Don was the only one that picked Indianapolis last week, and I think we're all a little bit surprised because it's been, well, hey, if they got their quarterback, Miami's to be reckoned with. So I think we're going to see what happens. But right now, that there's talks that was it McDaniel, the coach, that his butt might be feeling a little bit warm about now.
Yeah.
What do you think, Demetrius?
I do not think the Colts are very good. I think the Finns are very bad. But I mean, Dave's point is both things could be true. Both things actually could be true. I do not think Miami's a good team, and I don't like talking about the warmth of another grown man's butt like Dave does. But but if his car has a seat heater, it's probably locked. It's probably locked in the 3 position at this point. Yeah, I'm concerned about him because that window, they've got side issues with the receiver whose name just escaped me. He's going through some legal crap. I think they're
Hill.
Yeah. I think that Tyreek. Yeah, that might be a situation. Miami might be a situation where if one of these days we do first coach fired bets, it might not be a bad choice. It might not be a bad choice.
Don, what did you see last week that made you pick the Colts?
It was just a gut. I don't see anything. Just a gut instinct. I just know that. The Dolphins have some issues that kind of go back from the injuries to the quarterbacks and everything like that. I'm not convinced that Tua is completely healed from his past concussions and that, and I just think that they're going to be kind of in limbo for a while. That's just my gut feeling, and I don't think Baltimore is all that good either.
I mean, Indianapolis.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, maybe you did mean Baltimore.
Well, no, I had a brain fart. I went back to like 1980. I'm sorry, but I don't think the Colts are that good either. But I mean, it's just I thought that was going to be one of the more interesting games this year or the opening season because they're both they're teams that aren't spectacular in any sense, and they're playing each other, and so that usually you get 2 crappy teams playing. It's usually a pretty good game.
Well, speaking of 2 crappy teams, Don, we had the Raiders and playing the Pats, and we were all talking about Pete Carroll coming back, and what the Raiders were going to do this year, and then they got Geno Smith, and then we were talking about Vrabel and his history with the Pats, and maybe he could turn May around, but Donna, it turned out to be a 20-13 game.
Yeah, if you like defenses, is a great game.
Oh, Gino had 300. What did I say? 300 and
3,000. Gino had a career game. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He had 362 yards
Yeah.
passing.
It only scored 20 points, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, again, I think the Raiders are a team that everyone like dreams about, being great, being hopeful, and they always kind of fall short. But I think this year, there's some promise. We'll see. Um, I just the Patriots are a train wreck. A good game will be when the Patriots play the Dolphins. That'll be a good game.
Twice. We get to see that twice this year. That's great.
Yeah.
go, go ahead, Demetrius.
I think that we can say what a lot of different things about Pete Carroll. That man's a hell of a football coach, and I think that he's going to get them clean. I think Gino, he won't throw for 3,000 yards in a game, but I think you see a lot of games like this. I think Don Sutherland made a really cool point. It's like he threw for 362 and they only scored 20 points. What? How does that work, right? It feels like you should have put up more points, and you were playing the Pats. So I think that I've always kind of liked Gino, except when he lit up the Lions, and and I've always liked Pete Carroll. So I think the Raiders will be good. Problem is they're in that division I just talked about, where we all
Yeah.
believe the Chargers might be pretty good. I like Denver from day one, and Andy Reid knows how to coach very well. That's going to be a really good division. So all the good stuff I'm saying about the Raiders, they're probably still going to finish fourth in their division.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to those Pats Dolphins games. Me and Don, road trip to San Antonio.
Well, what do you think, Jay?
Well, all of us picked Las Vegas in that game.
Yeah.
And but most of us took the over, not the under. And I think that part of that may be attributed to Mike Vrabel. And I think with the Patriots, I'm expecting the Patriots to improve as the season goes on. And I think that Vrabel is going to, number one is instill some defense on the team, and they got to get the offense going. But maybe the reason that they didn't score so many points was that the Patriots were able to put up some stands and prevent them from scoring. So, but it's going to be interesting. I think that Mike Vrabel is a good coach. Fairly young, and I'm looking for the Patriots to improve as the season goes on. Now for the Raiders, wow, Geno Smith. I mean, I thought he was doing pretty well up in Seattle. I didn't quite understand why they let him go, but I guess Bo knows that better than any of us. But hey, he keeps on ticking. He had been written off a number of years ago, and he's right at it. So kudos to him for staying in the NFL. It's not easy to do.
Dave, I might have been wrong about ayahuasca, but Russell Wilson proved me right, Dad. So, what do you think? The Commanders, they spoiled Russ's debut, 21-6. You think Russ? How short do you think that leash is on Russ, considering what Jackson Dart was showing?
Well, number one, we all picked Washington to win that game, and that was with we all picked Washington, and that's with the Giants getting 6 points. So Washington is picking up where they left off. I think it's going to be interesting how they match up against Dallas and against Philadelphia to see, okay, are they as strong as they were? The Giants, my interest in Russell Wilson is I want him to keep starting for as long as he can into the season. I'm hoping that he starts, 10, 12 games. Now, at some point, they may bench him and go to is it Jackson Dart?
Yeah.
But I want that to be later in the season. Now, why do I want that? Why do I want Russell Wilson to keep starting?
Yeah.
It's because that will increase his value in the compensatory draft for Pittsburgh next
This
year.
guy's thinking about the Steelers. Yeah. I knew there was something there. Like, why does he give a damn about Russ? Yeah.
And then talking about hot seats, the Giants don't turn this around pretty quick. Brian Dable, he's already last year he was being talked about. Well, I think he might be in the conversation again for maybe being a coach that doesn't survive to 2026.
And I don't know if the GM Joe Shane survives either. That might be a package type of dismissal where they both end up going.
Don, what did you think?
What was the question?
Commanders beating up the Giants.
Oh yeah. Commanders are. So the NCAA that's going to be a Philadelphia. Philadelphia's going to win that. The battle will be between the Commanders, the Cowboys. I don't think the Giants are going to be. The Giants aren't going to be a factor in that. So it's basically a fight for second place. I think the Commanders are going to get better. I think the Commanders will be the legitimate challenge to Philadelphia because even though Philadelphia beat Dallas, I was not thinking that this is the team that's looking real good right now. I figured they should. I figured they should beat Dallas by 3 scores, but Commanders. Hell, Joe Daniels. That guy. He's legit. They drafted well this offseason, and I think they're going to be contenders. I see them in the playoffs. How deep they go, I'm not sure, but I can see them in the playoffs definitely.
Demetrius, you think two teams are coming out of the NFC? What did we say? NFC East?
I do not. Don Hayes is my friend, but I don't think Dallas is very good.
No, they're not. But Dallas in that division, it's Philly in the big three or the little three. I'm sorry, and I think it'll be between Commanders and Dallas for that second place.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said 2 teams? Yeah, I think 2 teams come out. Definitely Philly and whoever turns out to be better between Dallas and Washington. So yeah,
Washington
2 teams come out of these.
It'll be Washington.
I misunderstood the question. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Dave, we had cornerback Jalen Ramsey. His hit saved the game. That was a textbook hit to get his head out of the way and make that tackle and separate him from the ball. Big respect. So what do you think? Ayahuasca threw for 4 touchdowns, but we also gave up 400 and some yards, or at least 400 yards to defense. And who was that we picked up? We picked up somebody to take the place of Elliott.
No, the safety.
Didn't he used to play? He used to play
Patriots.
Patriots. Okay, I knew it was one of those guys in the East. But so, what do you think? Are you scared? Does that 400 yards scare you, Dave?
Yeah, that was a Jekyll and Mr. Hyde game for the Steelers. And I got to say, hats off to Justin Fields. It's the best game I've ever seen him play. And, what they did nice is they took advantage of his legs. But also, there was a couple times where he evaded sacks, and these were 3rd down plays, and he threw with tight windows, with defenders. Just missing the ball, and he got first downs. That was the best game I've seen Justin Fields play. So, and I think that with Justin Fields, that when he came to Pittsburgh, he came out of Pittsburgh a better player. And I think he's continuing to improve with the New York Jets. And he's only 26, so maybe he's going to develop it into a long-time starting quarterback. And hats off to him. For the Steelers on offense, other than the game plan by Arthur Smith and Aaron Rodgers executing it with a great arm, he was very decisive in his decision making, and they were spreading it around. They had 4 different players score, and like Ben Skoranek got the opening touchdown. That was fantastic. What wasn't so fantastic is they only had 53 rushing yards despite trying to rush. And the offensive line got Aaron Rodgers sacked 4 times, and he took some shots, and can't have it. If you want a 41-year-old quarterback, you got to keep him on his feet. Yep. So the offensive line, Broderick Jones was bad, but none of them were good. All of them as a unit, I think, would say we did not meet the standard. So that's a concern. On defense, they gave up, 180 some odd rushing yards. They were just getting run over. It was just a continuation from last year. Looks like that they were doing these outside zone runs, and they're running away from TJ Watt to Alex Highsmith's side where Cam Hayward is. And he had just signed a late contract the night before, but he was not in football shape. He did not look good. And now Jalen Ramsey, he played a hell of a game. That number one, he finally punished Fields for holding on to the ball, gave him a good lick earlier in the game. He caused he drew a penalty that the and you can see, he uses his mouth, but he's wise. He's in control. And you can see him laughing after the referees threw the flag. He was like laughing. And
that was the taunting play.
Yes.
Yeah.
He didn't get penalized. The other team did. He drew it, and that was beautiful. And it actually was the play where they hit the running. They hit Caleb Johnson out of bounds.
Oh,
and then there wasn't an immediate flag, and then there was some shit stuff going on, and he was able to get the flag thrown, and he started laughing. You could just see it. Now that last hit, this was classic. Dick LeBeau would teach: separate the receiver from the ball, and that's exactly what he did. And even if they had caught the ball, man, I forget if they had any timeouts left. They would have needed a timeout for that to have been dangerous, because they were about out of time. Yeah. But Boswell hitting a 60-yarder, he was ice, and then they required a turnover on the kickoff return in order to win. They scored like 14 points in 30 seconds. So it's Jabril Peppers. That's who they signed the safety, because their starting safety, Deshaun Elliott, he had to leave the game early with a knee injury. Malik Harrison had to leave the game because of a knee injury. And Joey Porter had to leave the game because of a tightened hamstring. And between those 3, only Joey is going to be playing this weekend. So that's where we're at. And this was a game where Rodgers had to put the game on his shoulders in terms of the offense. And then there was Boswell's leg that won the game. And the defense is a big concern. They did have 2 big stands there at the end of the game, but they were embarrassed. They said that they were embarrassed. And if they play like that, it's going to be a long season. They got a lot of corrections to make.
Yeah. They're not going we're not going north and try to win like that.
Right.
All right, Demetrius, here comes the rake. I got to take you through the coals here. Uh,
All right.
all right, so the season, the score to me, that wasn't the story. The story to me was actually the way Detroit looked. Other than what's his name, Tasala, and that hell of a
Tesla.
team. Yeah, well, is it Tesla for real?
Tesla. Not like the
Uh,
car. A little bit different than the car.
okay,
Tesla. Yeah.
but anyway, I mean, it was his catch that even made it as close as it was, and that was a hell of a catch. But what happened? I mean, was it preparations? Were you guys reading your headlines? I heard you last week with that notice. Yeah, it's just the Packers, man. I mean, did that flow down to the team, Demetrius?
No, they don't. They don't even know who I am. They didn't hear me. That wasn't it. I think you nailed the first piece. There's a thing I do on my own podcast after the game called Blame Pie. Pie chart where you kind of list all the reasons something happened, and I
You're
split
a
it up amongst the lot.
statistician, right?
Right?
Yeah,
We were
yeah.
not ready to go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We were not ready to go, and that's on Dan Campbell. And Dan Campbell acknowledged it. We were not ready to play. They came out with energy. They came out sharper. I think that we couldn't run. And if people don't realize this about the Lions, we're actually a running team. That our passing game is play action. It's large part play action because we can run, but we have a rookie and a second year guy at guard, and they blatantly missed assignments. You could see it. I didn't need all 22s to see what was happening. That's coachable. That's correctable. That's fixable. My quarterback at times looked a little hesitant, right? And that's not a Jared Goff thing. He's usually very sure. New offensive coordinator. I don't really think that's a big deal. I think you clean that up. So the everything you said was right. We looked ugly in every phase. We couldn't run well, which means we couldn't throw well. I think on defense we couldn't generate pressure because you're double Aiden Hutchinson and we don't have anybody generating quarterback pressures on the other side. So we're gonna have to scheme up pressures. And we tried. We tried zone blitzes. We're going to use linebackers, safeties, whoever. I think all this is teachable. And what I like about the Detroit Lions more than anything else is the coaching staff is solid. I think the people I feel most sorry for are Chicago Bears because they're coming to Detroit this week, and the team is getting all the smoke from Dan Campbell this whole week because they deserve it. They all know that was a shit sandwich in every respect of the game, right? And so everybody got a part. I think we'll get coached up. I think we'll clean some stuff up. We will come out at home with a better energy level. I think we're more talented than the Bears. And you leave that where it is. That game's last week. It's over. You can't do anything. Can't change it. Can't go back and fix anything. Can't run some extra plays. Can't do that. It's lost. There's no excuse. Oh, by the way, should start all that off by Green Bay's a really good football team. That's where I should have started. Green Bay's actually a really good football team, and I am not taking anything. They outplayed us on every level, in every phase, energy, execution, no turnovers, few mistakes. Green Bay played a really good football game, and they deserve to win. If you take away the jerseys and the logos and you watch a football game, guys like us, you see, oh, that team is better than that team. Doesn't matter. You don't need to know the rosters, any of that. During the game, you see there was never a point in that game where I thought the Lions are the better team on the field right now. That sucked because I haven't really felt that way much in the last 3 years. But Sunday, the Packers were the better team. They executed. They deserved to win, and we got to go back and clean some stuff up. But I don't. One data point doesn't throw your boy off. I know who that team is, and we'll be okay. We'll be okay. 16 teams lost last week. We don't all suck, do we? Right? And the 16 that won, some of them are not that great. See Don's
And
comments about the Raiders over the Pats.
the next game will be in Detroit, so
Yeah,
we'll see.
should be just
Uh,
fine.
Dave, I got to start with you in this one here, man. Sunday night, we had the Ratbirds at the Bills. And this turned out to be a shootout. When last week when we were going over uh, the over under, I mentioned that the over under was 50.5. Well, they just shot that to hell. What,
They just
81?
laughed at
You know,
that.
but we laughed at the 50 last week. Dave, what was your thoughts on that game? Considering, don't we play both teams? Don't we play the Bills again this year?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Well,
So
here's I had
we
a
play
little bit of I had a
twice.
flashback during this game. I went back to 1976. Steel curtain defense, Pittsburgh Steelers,
Wait, during
two-time
that game, you
returning
thought
Super
about
Bowl
that?
champions. Yeah, I sure did. Two-time returning champions playing the Las Vegas or the Oakland Raiders. 5 minutes to play. Pittsburgh's up 28-14. 14 points.
Yep.
Steel curtain defense. You got this.
Yep. Game's over.
Stabler came off the bench. 17 unanswered points in the last 5 minutes for the Raiders to win the game. I still have nightmares about that. This game, I stopped watching. Hey, 4 minutes to play. Buffalo's up by 15 points.
Yeah.
What was it, 40-25? Yep. 4 minutes to play. This is done. Next thing I know, I hear that I left the TV on. I left the room. I hear all this cheer. I come in, game-winning field goal. They score 16 unanswered points in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's ever been done before. And it's like, wow. I mean, one wow that Baltimore's defense can be scored on. I mean, Buffalo, Josh Allen, Buffalo, they're very good, but still, if it bleeds, it can be killed, right? Yeah. From Predator.
Yep.
So they showed it, but these are two really high-powered offensive teams, and you saw that on display. Again, first game of the season, one of them had to lose, and I'm glad that it was Baltimore.
Yeah. Quick story. Monday at work, right? Guy comes into my office, good friend of mine. We're just yucking it up about the games. And he was like, man, it sucked that Buffalo got blown out last night. And I said, Rich, what time did you stop watching the game? He's like, what? I said, Buffalo won the game. He was like, no, they didn't. I was like, you checked out early, didn't you? He was like, yeah. And then he goes and looks like, oh, my God. I was like, yeah, that happens. That happens sometimes. He was really upset because he had picked them. And he was like, it sucks that the Bills got blown out the way they did. And I'm like, nah, Richie, that's not what happened, Reddy. Yeah.
Don, what'd you think?
Well, that was an unbelievable game. You have two of the dynamic quarterbacks in the league. You have the current MVP versus the former MVP. So yeah, great shootout, great. I thought the Ravens would play a little bit better defense, but I guess not. But yeah, I like that. That's why I love those type of games where you have so much talent on both sides and they just get after it, and I loved it.
Give me a good old 10-7 game. But
get out of here. I got some black socks I can send out there for you.
Did Buffalo attempt an onside kick during that game?
No. The Derrick Henry fumble helped them. I don't think they ever.
I saw some team attempt an onside kick, and I forget which game it was. It didn't work, but
I don't think it was. I don't remember it being Buffalo because the one that when you speak of when Derrick Henry fumbled, they kicked that one off, and they were actually had some momentum going.
Exactly.
You thought that was. Yeah, I mean, I think that was the play that turned the game around.
Absolutely.
But Dave, how did we do last week?
Oh, all right. So what I'll do is just a shorthand. I'll give the number correct and the percentage. I'll track the percentages. So Myself, I'm the caboose. I got 12 correct, which is out of 32 selections, the over-unders plus the spread. So I'm at 37.5 on my picks. Then we go to James. You got, where'd this go here? James, you got 15 correct. You're at 46.9%. And then Demetrius, right down the middle, 16 for 32. You're right at 50%. Don, you had 17 of 32 picks correct, 53.1, not bad.
Nice.
Thankfully, Anthony isn't here.
Yeah.
19 correct.
Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
59.4%. We'll tell him that he had 49%.
We're telling him there was a glitch in the system. We don't really know what his score was. There was a mistake at the polling booth. I don't know.
So, not bad for the first week. We're off.
All right. 50%.
So here we are at week 2. We're going to start out with the Commanders, plus 3.5 at the Packers, and the over/under is 48.5. Demetrius, only fair you start this one out.
Well, it's not fair at all. I'm not sure why you said that. But I do.
You just told us how good the Packers were. So.
They are. Yeah, and this is a really good game, by the way, because I think the Commanders are also good. I am taking the Commanders because I think it's a close game. If I understand this right, Green Bay is favored by 3.5. I'm taking the Commanders because I think it's going to be a tight game. Packers probably still win late. And I take it over. I think they're both going to score. So Commanders and the over, but for the record, I think the Packers win the game. But I want those 3.5.
Okay. And the other one is the Giants. They're getting 5. They're playing at the Cowboys, and the over/under is 40.
They're not getting 5, right? They're giving the Giants 5. I'm certain of that.
Yeah, the Cowboys are. Yeah. The Giants are getting 5.
Yeah. The Giants are plus 5.
Plus
right 5. At the Cowboys. They're playing that.
So I still think Russ is the quarterback. So I'm going to lay the 5 and take Dallas. I'm going to take Dallas, but I don't think they're going to score a lot. So I'm going to go with the under.
Okay.
Dallas and the under.
I'm going to take the Commanders and the over, and I'm going to take the Cowboys and the under. I don't think the Giants are going to score more than 10 anyway. But
I'm more worried about Dallas putting up 38 by themselves. That's the real concern.
Dave?
Okay. I went in the opposite direction. I went with Green Bay and the under. I guess I was listening too carefully to Demetrius. And then I'm taking, like you guys, same car. I'm Dallas and the under.
Don?
I'm going to take the Packers and the over.
Okay.
I'm going to take Dallas in the over.
All righty. Let's see. Don, the next one, we got the Bills. They're giving the not yet Jets. They're giving them 7. And the over/under is 46.5. Don.
Ooh. Bills in the over on that one.
Okay, and the next game is the Clowns. They're getting 12.5.
Yeah, right. That might be the biggest line I've ever seen in the NFL. That's a college line. What the hell?
12.5. They're
still laying the points.
They're playing at the Ratbirds, and the over/under is 45.5.
Oh yeah. Well, 12. I'll go Ravens and the I'll go Ravens. Damn, that 12 point.
My God!
I'll go Ravens in the over. What the hell?
All right.
I'm still medicated, so.
Right. Blaming on that good stuff.
Is it, Dave?
I'm taking Buffalo in the over. I think that there should be some points scored in that game. And then, Cleveland shut down Cincinnati's offense, especially in the second half.
Yeah, 17-16, wasn't it?
So I'm,
Something.
I'm going to take the under, and then there's Joe Flacco quarterbacking. So I'm taking the under in the game, but I'm going to take Cleveland. I'm going to take Cleveland in those points.
Yep.
Cleveland in the under.
I'm following you on both, so it's easy for me. I 100% agree with you. Put me down for what you put yourself down for.
Yeah. Boy,
he can't take the clowns, but he can't take the Ratbirds. He doesn't know what to do here. He is in a real
yeah.
James is in a
cheat sheet there.
Yeah.
Oh,
James
man.
is in such a pickle right now because he's got to pick. He's got to say, "I'm taking the clowns," or "I'm taking the Ratbirds." He's got to say it out loud.
Oh, who did you take in the Buffalo game, Demetrius?
Oh, same as you. Yeah, Buffalo
Okay.
and over, right? Is that what it is?
Over, right?
Yeah, Buffalo and over. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing in that game. Like he said, it's hard for me to get these
Say it out loud. Say it with your chest, James King.
Make it tie. You could call for a tie.
No,
you can say I'm not choosing.
Okay, I'm not taking the clowns, and I'm taking the over.
That's how you do it. I do not pick the clowns, and I'm taking the over. You don't have to admit anything on that. Because this is recorded. People can find it.
Okay. And now we got the 49ers are giving the Saints 4.5. But I don't know if you guys heard, but there's a possibility that Purdy might not be playing.
Yeah. I think this line might have moved. I wonder what it is right at this moment.
Yeah. Well,
this is the numbers we have.
I'm good. I'm good with this.
Yeah, I mean, this is the one right now that's on DraftKings.
Okay. All right.
But it might change, like you said. But this was the one that was after they heard about Purdy.
Who's the 49ers backup?
Well, it's not Trent anymore, is it? I mean, it's not Lawrence anymore, is it?
Trey Lance is what you mean, or no?
Yeah, it's not him. Trey Lance is gone, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm not sure who the backup is. It's not Jimmy, is it?
I think it's Mac Jones, actually. Is it Mac Jones?
I'll look it up.
Okay, I thought it was Mac Jones. I ain't sure.
It's not Jimmy, is it?
No, it's not Jimmy.
Who is it, Dave?
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, okay. I don't think
they got Mac Jones, and because the other person is Curtis Rourke.
Rourke, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Mac.
It must be. It's Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Mac Jones against Spencer Rattler, right?
Yeah, I think Rattler's got that job. Yeah.
So this should be a high scoring affair. That's what you're trying to. No. Anyway, I'm going to take the 49ers, but I'm definitely going to take the under. Jacksonville and Cincinnati. Jacksonville showed me a little bit last week, but I still think Cincinnati will put up the points. They didn't show me a lot of. I'm not going to take Jacksonville on this one, but I'm definitely going to take the over.
He did it again.
Go ahead, Demetrius.
I no Kittle, no Purdy. I'm taking the Saints, and I'm getting points, right? Yeah, I'm taking the Saints and the under, and I'm taking the Bengals and the under. Yeah, both unders. I'll take Saints and Bengals.
Don?
I'm going to go Saints in the under, and I'm going to go Bengals with the over.
Dave?
Okay. This is a great opportunity for the Saints, but I'm still going to go with the 49ers. I think overall they have a stronger roster than the New Orleans, who's kind of like in disarray. And I'll take the under and Cincinnati in the over. I think they get their offense back on track.
Okay. Dave, the Rams, -5.5. They're playing the Titans, and the over/under is 41.5.
Oof.
I believe this is the lowest over/under.
Yep. No.
Yeah.
No, there's one
Steelers,
more.
Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some even lower last week, but I'm going to
Yeah.
take the Rams because Tennessee, in the under.
Whoa, you taking the under? Okay.
I'm taking the under, and then I'm going to take. Okay, and then the next game is
The
You know it.
Bears
You know it.
getting 5.5
This ain't that
at
hard.
the Lions, and the over/under is 47.5.
well,
Don't do it. Don't do
yeah,
it.
Caleb Williams kind of
Oh my God.
he fell apart. I'm going to take Detroit in the under.
Smart man.
Okay. And the Rams. Oh, you took the Rams. Who'd you have in that
I
one?
took Rams in the under.
Rams.
Okay. Don.
I'm going to take Detroit in the over, and I will take the Rams in the over.
Put me down for the same thing. Don made it easy. Put me down with it. Follow the cab. Is that what I'm supposed to say right there? Follow that cab? Yeah. I'm going to follow that cab.
Yeah. You can follow me too, Dave.
I think that's a ballsy choice under on a 41.5, Dave. I want to make sure.
You know what? I'm either going to be catching up with you guys or falling.
Right? You're going to pick up a point on everybody. I'm worried about it because I don't know.
It's going to be one or the other.
And it might just be that the Titans don't score a lot and the Rams put up a decent number, but you stay below. So that's the trick there.
All right, Dave. The Seahawks are getting 3. And they're playing at the Steelers. And we have the lowest over/under of the day, 40.5.
I'll be at the game. I'm attending it. I'm going to take Pittsburgh, and even with that defense has got to step up. So I'm going to take the under just out of principle. My head says take the over, but I'm going to take the under.
Dave's going to get back in this old school. He's just going to go out on the limb.
And Dave, the Pats are getting 1.5. They're playing at the Dolphins.
The Don Hayes Bowl.
And the over/under is 43.5.
Well, I mean, Miami, we're going to find out. Miami may come back and look like a playoff team after looking terrible, but I'm going to go with Mike Vrabel. I like that guy, and so I'm going to take the Patriots and the over.
Coming back from the West Coast, 362 yards. I don't know. I'm going to have to go with the Fins here, but I'm going to take the over because I don't think either defense is going to stop either one. And as far as I'm going to take the Steelers, but I have no confidence in the defense like you, Dave, so I'm going to take the over. So, Demetrius.
I'm taking the Steelers and the over, and I'm taking the Pats and the over.
Don. You started this bowl, Don.
Yeah.
All
right, so I'll take the Steelers in the under, and I'm going to take. They're playing at Miami, right?
Yeah.
I'll go with the Dolphins, and I'll go under on the also.
Okay, Don, I'm going to stay with you here. The Panthers are getting 6.5. They're playing the Cardinals, and the over/under is 44.5.
Hmm. I'm going to take the Cardinals in the under, and then go Broncos Colts. Right?
Yeah.
Are they playing in Denver? Or are
No,
they playing
But
in?
no, wait a minute. Yeah, we're doing. Yeah, we're doing. The Broncos are getting 2.5. No,
nope, nope,
the
nope.
Broncos are minus 2.5. Sorry,
In
the
Indy,
Colts.
the game's in
The
Indy. Yeah.
Colts are getting 2.5, and they're
Okay.
playing in Indianapolis, and the over under is 42.5.
Okay. I go the Bronx in the over.
Okay, so you got the Broncos, and who'd you take between the Cards and the Panthers?
Get the Cards.
The Cards.
in the
Okay,
under.
Yeah.
okay. Demetrius.
I think this is my opportunity. 6.5 is a lot. I don't think Carolina's that bad. I don't think Arizona's that good. I'm taking the Panthers and the under. And then I really like Denver, and I like the over.
Okay, this is the proof of the pudding. I'm taking Arizona in the over, and I'm
Ooh.
taking Indiana at home in the under.
Ooh, oh, we're gonna get
How
some
about
Ooh,
separation.
that?
One way or another, there's gonna be some separation.
I mean, he's taking the 40. He's went under the
Yeah.
41.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go with the Cards, uh, and I'm gonna go with the under. I'm gonna go with the Broncos, and I'm gonna go with the over. Uh, let's see. The next is the Eagles, giving the Chiefs 1.5, and the over under is 46.5. I think the Chiefs are going to start out 0-2, so I'm going to take the. I'm going to take that. Well, I'm going to give those points. It's only 1.5, so I'm going to give the points, and I'm going to go for the over. And the Falcons are getting 3.5 at the Vikings. The over under is 44.5. Um, Good thing Mr. Scott's not here, because I kind of like what the young kid did after he threw that pick six. I think it kind of changed the whole game around. So I am going to take the Vikings, and I'm going to take the over, and and I took the Eagles in the over. So Dave.
Okay, I'm going to take Kansas City in the over, and like you, I'm taking the Minnesota in the over.
Go ahead, Demetrius.
I'm gonna take Kansas City in the over, but I'm gonna take those 3.5 points with the Falcons, and I'm gonna take the under. I was not impressed by the Vikings. They played like shit for 3 quarters of that game. I just wasn't impressed. He's gonna
So,
have to
so you're
prove it.
just going by the book of Demetrius?
Oh, of course, absolutely. That book, yeah, that book of mine, right? The book of Demetrius. He ain't here, so fuck it. I'm gonna take the Falcons, but I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go under in that game. Close,
Don.
close game.
I think the Chiefs will rebound. It's gonna be a great game. Probably best game on the tube
Yep,
this week.
agree.
I'll go Chiefs in the over, and then oh man, Falcons. I like Bijan, but I think JJ looked pretty good in that second half. I'll go Falcons in the over. I'm sorry, I'm Falcons in the under. My bad.
Okay. And the last pair, Don, we had the Bucks giving 2.5 to the Texans, and the over under is 42.5.
CJ Stroud versus the Antichrist. Okay, so I'll go. You know what? I'm just going to go with my heart, not my brain. I'll go Texans in the under, and then
Okay.
I'm going to Chargers in the over.
Chargers are giving the Raiders 3.5,
Mm-hmm.
and the it's 46.5, and you went the over.
Yes, Chargers in the over.
Okay. Uh, I'm going to go the Bucks and the over, and I'm going to go Chargers. Keep thinking of that 362. I'm going to go Chargers and the over. Demetrius.
I am gonna go Texans versus Baker Reagan Mayfield in honor of Bill Carroll, or the Antichrist. I guess he goes by as well. But I'm gonna take the Texans in the over.
Okay.
And now you got me thinking about the 362. But I'm gonna take the Chargers, but I'm gonna take the under because the 362 only resulted in 20 points. So.
Well, if he scores 20, hopefully, the Chargers will score 27. But anyway, Dave.
I'm going to take Houston in the under. I was going to go over, but I changed to under. And to be different from all of you guys, everybody took the Chargers, so I'm going to take the Raiders in the over.
Dave is trying to change the whole game in week 2. He's like, that's it. I'm separating myself in week 2.
I'm going to pin this up on my wall.
All right.
All right. Dave, final thoughts.
Yeah, a little bit sad. I just got news that our former high school football coach, Fred Shepard, passed away today. He started coaching at Winston Churchill High School back in 1968, and he coached up into the 1990s, won a couple of state championships. I played JV ball, and he was the varsity coach. So back in 1972, when I played JV ball, I never even talked to him. I talked to the JV coaches, not the varsity. But he was originally from the Pittsburgh area, and a lot of what he would do at the end of every season, and I imagine a lot of high school coaches do it, but a lot of people I know and a lot of people afterwards really credit him. Everybody on the team, every senior, he would be calling the colleges. And like my buddy Charlie Granger, he was the captain of the team. He was a 160-pound running back, and he got a offer from DePaul, of all places. And so it didn't matter, it depended. Some of them went to Division I schools, but a lot of them, no matter who it was, he would work his butt off in order to try to get them into a college program. He's in the Maryland Athletic Hall of Fame. One of the things that really struck me was that we dedicated the football field was named after him. And that was about 10 years ago. And he came up, he had retired to North Carolina. And we had like a barbecue at the football game. There's like 60 or 70 alumni through all the years. And he coached people like Brian Holloway, who played for the Patriots. He coached Boo Boo Palmer, who played in the NFL, I think played for the Chiefs. He coached Dhani Jones, who was a linebacker that played for the Eagles and for the Bengals. He coached the Kemp brothers. And one of them, I think Jeff, this is Jack Kemp's sons, the Senator Jack Kemp. He coached both of the Kemp boys, and one of them went to the Rams. So he put some players into the NFL. But here I am. I had played JV ball. I was like a 4th or 5th string lineman. I was like all of 5'3". And here we are dedicating the stadium to him. And this guy, he remembered, he called me by name. He knew who I was, and this was like 45 years after I had played there. Wow. And so he was just like one of these guys. If you had any athletic talent, he would try to get you out on the football field, and he just knew everybody, and he helped a lot of people. So I think that he left quite a legacy, quite an impact on a lot of players. He had some downsides too, and at the one state championship, they were playing Dunbar out of Baltimore, which is a inner city Baltimore school. And what Fred Shepard would do, the state championship was at University of Maryland in the stadium there, and he dressed every player. He had 70 players out on the field practicing. And then this lady from Baltimore, the Dunbar Poets, they only had, I think, 21 players, 20 or 21 players. And she's like, my God, look at all those guys. And I turned to her and I said, well, only 11 of them could play at a time. And it ended up, that game went to, I think, quadruple overtime, and Dunbar won in like quadruple overtime. And unfortunately, Coach Shepard was yelling at the players after the game, which was unfortunate, because that memory is going to be with that team for all their lives. But for the vast majority of players, even some of the players that he was screaming at the end of that game, they all admired him and they really appreciated him. So I just wanted to give a little shout out to Fred Shepard, who was a career high school football coach.
That's awesome.
Demetrius, that was a great story there about Dunbar. But but back in those days, that's kind of the way it was coached. If you lost the game, sometimes you lost the game and the fight. That's a different story.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Demetrius.
Yeah. So what I always do is I try and think of someone unrecognized to the level I think they should be in athletics, and if it coincides with their birthday, all the better. And tonight is a guy named Jim Hines. We don't talk a ton of track and field here, but Jim Hines was the first man to run 100 meters in under 10 seconds. He did this at the 1968 Olympics. He set 2 records. He's part of a relay team that night. He won 2 gold medals. One of them was with the relay team. And at the time, back in the day, there was a light beam that gave an immediate time that said 9:89, which was stunning. But then they had the old Polaroid films. That was the official time. So they had to wait until literally for the film to develop to get the real time. And it got altered up a little bit to, I think, 9:95. But he was the first man to run the 100 meters in under 10 seconds. I still think he's grossly underrated. And like I said, 2 gold medals. That record stood for 15 years. It wasn't until 1983 until that was broken. And it was barely broken. And if they were to use his original light beam time, it would have stood. But I think Jim Hines doesn't get enough credit. That was the first all-black podium for the 100 meters. A Jamaican, Lennox Miller, and I want to say Charles Green, a U.S. guy, won the bronze. So today would have been Jim Hines' 79th birthday. And I thought, don't look up his NFL career. It wasn't pretty. his nickname on the practice squad, before they called it a practice squad. What did they call it? The
taxi squad.
Taxi squad. He's a taxi squad guy for, I want to say, the Dolphins. And his nickname was Oops. And you can probably figure out why. But his NFL career did not last long. But he did a lot of stuff for inner city kids in Houston. And like I said, his record stood for years. He was inducted to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame in the mid-'90s sometime, and the Texas Track and Field Hall of Fame maybe 10 years ago. So passed away in June of 23. But like I said, today would have been his 79th birthday. And I think that Jim Hines deserves that record. Two-time gold medalist, first man to break 10 in the 100 meters. It's a big deal, right? And a lot of people don't know his name. So I thought, when I saw actually a few weeks ago, hey, we're going to do a Sports Krib on his birthday, I'm going to say that one. So I decided to recognize Jim Hines tonight. So.
By the way, we want to thank Daniel for checking us out.
Popping in tonight.
From Sports Highlights. Don, take us home here, man.
All right. So my final thought is football related. this year in Texas, we have a new college team called UT at the Rio Grande Valley. It used to be called UT Pan American. It's in It's in Edinburgh, Texas. Which, if you're not familiar with the state of Texas, Edinburgh is about 20 miles from Mexico.
Right.
So this college is deep, deep, deep South Texas in the Rio Grande Valley, and they're 2-0. First year playing football. They're division. They're the FCS school. But anyway, they're coached by a guy named Travis Bush, who I don't know Travis, but I knew his father well. His father was a longtime coach here in Texas. He coached at Floresville, where I used to coach. Great family, great guy, and so hats off to the Vaqueros. They play. They play in a modified soccer stadium, and it's one of these old school stadiums that has a roof on it. Not like a dome, but like a roof that covers the home side.
Gotcha.
And yeah, they're undefeated. They beat Prairie A&M last week. Before that, they played Sul Ross. So the Vaqueros are 2-0, and
Let's go.
the people. Now, I'm going to tell you about the people down in South Texas, down in the valley. There's not a lot of football success in our high schools, but they turn out for their games. They're packed. So I was telling Elliot, because she's from the valley. She's she's from Mexico, but she's from that area. I told her, I said, you know what? When Texas has an off week, we should go watch the Vaqueros play down in Edinburgh. And she said, yeah, let's go. So because she has a nephew who graduated from her. So
Okay.
good luck to the UT RVG Vaqueros rest of the year.
Nice.
All right, guys. Well, hey, good talking with everybody as usual. So I guess I'll see everyone next week.
All right. Good stuff,
All
guys.
right.
Next week.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Have a good one. Yeah.
I always wait till it goes off air.
Are you still getting that?
Yeah, it's still live.
Yeah, no, I haven't ended it yet.
What were you asking?